Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with another video today. We're going to go for a drive and see what this particular area looks like in the phase 0.5 that we're currently in. We'll check out how many people are on the streets. We'll check out how many businesses are open. I'm not expecting a lot to be open, to be honest, but we'll go and have a drive and we'll have a bit of an update on what's going on here in Spain at the moment, or at least what's going on here in Madrid. So let's go. All right, so let's go and have a look at what's going on at the moment. People, oh, guy not respecting the give way sign there. It's fairly typical. People are driving as if they're the only people on the roads at the moment. And you'll notice that we have to take a bit of a different route today because the main street up the top here has been cut off. So we can't take that. That's been pedestrianised. So you're only allowed to ride bikes, go for a walk, do exercise on that main strip. It's 12:15, midday, and this is the time when families are allowed out here in Madrid. Remember that we're still in these time slot allocation periods, and 12 to 6 is for families. But you don't get too many families after 1:30 here because it's just too hot at the moment for people to be out and about. So taking a bit of a different route today and see what's going on. But we might go down into the industrial area, see if there's any businesses open. I went down the other day to get some tyres changed on my car, so that place was open, which was good to see that some businesses are starting to open up again. And now we've got a roadblock here, which is obviously not good, so we're going to have to detour again. It's all part of life at the moment. Detours, roads being cut off, and just generally not as accessible as it used to be. But anyway, now I've got my mask, because remember that masks are from yesterday compulsory if you're out and about. Now, I had a few people on yesterday's video saying, well, you forgot to mention that it's only a 2-meter rule. It's only if you're not in contact with people in less than a space of 2 meters. And basically, that is true. That is 100% correct. You only have to wear a mask if you can't guarantee that social distancing. But if you've ever been to Spain, you'll know that crowds can form very, very quickly. And it's better to have one on you at all times. So I've got mine here on the seat. I don't have to have it at the moment because I've got no one else in the car. But you can see the majority of people have got masks on, even just walking down the street here. So people are even going to the supermarket here on the way back with masks on. We can see that girl there coming back from the supermarket with a mask. So have one on you at all times. That would be my recommendation, because you never know when you're going to come across a place where you can't respect that 2-meter rule. And if the police happen to be around at that particular moment, you could be in trouble. Now we'll go straight on here. So I want to go out onto the highway and we'll go through the industrial area and see what's going on. So we can see there's a few people out and about. Families, remember, at this time. Everybody else should be at home. Shouldn't be people doing exercise. Shouldn't be elderly people walking around at this time of the day. Legally, that is. So we'll see what we come across on the trip. Yeah, so just going back to the masks, a lot of people not in favour of wearing masks. There are some exceptions. I went through those exceptions yesterday. So if you have some type of breathing problems, you don't have to wear a mask. And you don't have to wear them if you're running or doing exercise either. And again, if you're in an open space where there's no people, you don't have to wear your mask. But in basically any Spanish city, you know, that 2-meter rule is going to be difficult to maintain, so probably better to have the mask on. Now, over the last couple of days, we've seen a lot of images on TV of people going to beaches. Barcelona beach was absolutely packed yesterday and the day before. People going swimming, people not respecting those distancing rules. So basically you get the impression that the Spanish population, or at least a big part of the Spanish population, is just fed up. So not much traffic on the roads. Let's go down to the beginning of the industrial area. Now I'm out and about today because I've got to go to Leroy Merlin. I've got to pick something up from there, a bit of DIY work. So I'm going to work my way to Leroy, and I'm also going to go past and see if some businesses are open, as I said, because we've got to start to get things done. The economy's been shut down for too long. And talking to the guy that was putting my tyres on the other day, I mean, he's absolutely desperate for business. He's been shut. He doesn't know when business is going to get back to normal, if it does get back to normal. He's hoping that next week things are going to open up a little bit and some type of regular activity will come back. But the time that I was there getting those tyres changed, I was there for about 35 minutes probably while he was putting them on, and the phone didn't even ring. One couple came to get the tyre pressure checked, and that was about it. So I don't know how much he would charge for that. But I got my tyres changed, so now I'm ready to go through the ITV, or the MOT as you say in the UK. Now, lots of white vans on the road. These are obviously transport vans, people that are doing deliveries. They're the main thing that we can see. In front of me there's 3 or 4, not too many more other types of cars. So we'll go in here now and we'll see what's open. There's a few supermarkets, and we'll go through this industrial estate and see if there's any activity. But the economy is absolutely decimated at the moment. I don't know whether it's going to recover, to be honest. I don't know how many businesses are going to close, because I mean, realistically, how long can you stay closed for without doing business, remembering that this is a country where people rely on services. All right, there's the council on the left. So a bit of activity here, not much. A few cars around. Post office open there. Roadworks in place. All right, okay. So there we got some car dealerships. I don't know whether they're open or not. I think they might be. Yeah, seems to be open. Don't know how many cars have been sold over the last few weeks or months, but I don't imagine a lot. So there is a little bit of activity here, not a lot. Lots of council workers out and about. Got the waterworks people there. So a few businesses seem to be open. Another car dealership there seems to be open. Remember that businesses that have less than 400 square meters are allowed to open during this phase. There's a garden centre there to my left that is open. People coming out of that place with a few plants, but not a lot of activity. Normally there would be probably 15 to 20 cars stopped at this traffic light at this time of the day. You can see that there's only 3. Okay, people coming up here. Everybody seems to be wearing a mask. 3 people there waiting to go to the bank, masks on, standing in a line. Let's go through here. Business is shut, gate's not open. This would normally be cars parked everywhere, nothing happening here. So a lot of businesses are weighing up whether it's worth opening or not, to be honest. Now that they have this redundancy plan in place, is it worth them opening? For example, restaurants that are only going to be able to have 50% terrace space open as of next week. Apparently that's if Madrid goes into phase 1. Is it going to be worth it for them to open? Don't know. Are they going to have to re-employ all of the staff? Are they going to be able to take on part-time staff? Are those rules going to change? We'll have to wait and see. We can see now that people are starting to get a little bit agitated. Lots of demonstrations happening all over the place. The government seems to be losing it. Some of the decisions that they've been taking, they don't have any support. The opposition groups are up in arms, as you would expect. You would think that a country would come together in times of crisis, but it doesn't seem to be the case here. I don't know what it's like in the UK or other European countries. I don't know whether political parties are working together in order to fix the big problems, or whether they're using the time to completely attack the government. I've got no idea, but here it's just starting to get nasty. Some of the decisions that the government took yesterday or the day before in order to get that extension to the state of alarm wasn't popular. They had to pack with groups that have had a very dubious past, and they couldn't really get any support. So I'm not going to expect this government to last too long, but then again, you never know. All right, so here we are in Leroy Merlin. A few cars here. Leroy's a fairly big business, and they're allowed to open only 400 square meters. So you sort of have to wait in a queue, which is what people are doing here. And you tell the guy what you want, or the lady what you want, and they go off and get it for you, and you go through the process. But people here in the sun, not comfortable. It's about 30 degrees at the moment, and people are there in the sun. So we'll just park here, and then we'll go and get what we need. All right, so there we go, out of Leroy. I've got what I needed. It took me about 30 minutes to get through. Lucky I put the sunscreen on, because standing in the sun there was a bit hot. The sun right in my face. All of these businesses here, this one's open, Nor Auto, like a car accessory place. Over here, what have we got? This place seems to be open, a furniture place. Obviously less than 400 square meters, so they're able to open. The guy was outside having a smoke, so there's no business from what I can see. Shopping areas here in this particular neighborhood. Bar there, completely cordoned off, of course. No restaurant activity yet in phase 0.5, only takeaway. They don't decide to open. Decathlon is open there, it seems. So the questions are going to be, what's the future going to look like as far as the Spain economy goes? I mean, you know, is it going to be able to recover? Is Europe going to have to bail it out? I was talking to somebody yesterday, and he said that Europe needs to intervene now in the Spain economy, or even the Spain government. I think he was also suggesting that maybe power needs to be taken away from inept politicians. Don't know whether we've got to that stage yet, but if the social situation gets out of control over the next few weeks even more, it's going to be a serious problem for the government. Here's the ITV. They're open, and a few people getting their car done. Not as many as I expected, but a few. All right, now we're going to go down here, and we'll come up into the main town part, and we'll see what the general activity is like there. See if there are any smaller businesses open, whether the fruit shop's open, butcher shop's open. We'll just check that out and see. So like I was saying, this person yesterday saying that Europe needs to intervene immediately in the Spain government in order to get this situation sorted out. He was saying that politicians are completely inept. They have no idea what they're doing, and I tend to agree with him to a certain extent. I imagine it's difficult for politicians all around the world. I mean, as far as I know, not many countries have been through something similar to this, but it seems to be that the Spain government has no idea what it's doing, and it needs somebody to give it some ideas. Everybody's talking about Portugal. Portugal's doing this, Portugal's doing that, Portugal's on the same page. And I was reading in the paper this morning that the British government is trying to work out some type of agreement with Portugal, because they were talking about the other day one of these special routes to bring tourists directly into the country. Spain was a little bit peed off that the British have decided to negotiate with Portugal instead of with them. And yesterday on the news, the Spanish tourism sector was pleading to the Portuguese to come and fill the void that's been left by the other European countries that have decided to give Spain a miss for their summer vacations. Travel corridors, I think, is what they're called. And apparently what I read this morning was the British government is negotiating with Portugal to get some type of travel corridor, and the Spanish are not pleased about that. We saw the other day that German people were going to Greece, and Italy's talking about opening up as well. So yeah, it's going to be a hard summer here in Spain. And is the responsibility on the government? We could argue that. They've brought in some pretty strange measures. Okay, the fruit shop's open. That's good to see. So we can get some fruit from there. We'll just go around here now and see if the butcher is open. So restaurant here open as well. It looks to be probably only doing takeaway. So they've got some takeaway set up, which is good to see. Pharmacy open, of course. The Chinese shop open. Bar starting to open up, and of course the butcher shop open. One client waiting outside, and inside 3 or 4 people. So not a lot of activity. Woman with mask in hand. So what are we going to do? If no tourists come to Spain this year, it is going to be a tough summer. But hopefully things will be organised, and some type of activity will come back to the tourist sector. So there we go. I'll start to wrap the video up. Questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Debate the situation out. What do you think about the future of Spain from a tourism point of view? Are people going to want to come here, or are they going to decide to go to Greece, to Portugal, to Italy, to Croatia, one of the main competitors to the Spain tourist industry? What's it going to be? And does Europe need to intervene here in Spain now to save the situation? Let us know in the comment section below. Have a good day. Hasta luego.